April the 4th, year 2019. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. I have talked in the previous sessions about Sureh Anbia, Surah number 21. And I said that it has 6 miracle verses. I have talked about 4 of them in the previous sessions. Today I will talk about the 5th one. And because this one is important and lengthy, I will make it 2 different sessions. Today is the session 1 of that is verse 44 of Surah Anbia. It says, "Do they not know that we give to the earth and reduce it from its sides? Shall they then overcome?" Discussion. This verse talks about plate tectonics activity, which is the most important function of the earth and actually the most important discovery about the earth. Geologists, the specialists of the earth, say any planet that has plate tectonics activity is a live planet. And any planet that does not have that is a dead planet. Mars is a dead planet. I will talk briefly about that later on. First, I talk about the earth briefly, and then I will talk about plate tectonic activity. The earth is a sphere that from outside to inside is made of 3 parts. The outer part is called crust. This is the crust. It is just a line that I have drawn here. And it is made of a stone. Under the crust is mantle, which is the largest part of the earth, and at the center there is central core or inner core. The crust is made of a stone, and there are 2 kinds of stone on it. As I said, comparing to the big size of the earth, the thickness of crust is like this. 70% of the surface of the earth, of the crust, are the oceans. 30%, or in fact better to say 29% of that are the land that we can live on them. There are 2 kinds of stones in the crust. One is the stone that we see on high mountains. It is very hard. And it is called granite. The kind of this stone is called granite. The bottom of the oceans, the thickness of the granite, of the crust of the land that the geologists call it continental crust, is quite enough. It is usually more than 20 or 25 kilometers, and in some areas it is 50 kilometers thick. The crust of the bottom of the oceans is a black stone. They call it basalt. And basalt is very, very hard, much harder than the regular stone that we see on the land, and much heavier than that also. The thickness of this crust on different parts of the ocean is different. Usually it is between 5 and 10 kilometers. And because the bottom of the sea is much lower than the surface of the continental area, the water has accumulated there and has made the oceans. The crust, the second part is called mantle. This is mantle at the tip of this flesh. All this thickness is mantle. And mantle is the biggest part, the most voluminous part of the earth. And that one is made of a stone also, but because it is too hot, it has become semi-liquid. It is like jelly, in fact. Just under the crust, the temperature of mantle is 1100 degrees centigrade. And when we go more inside, deeper in the earth, its temperature increases until it reaches the central core or inner core. The temperature of the central core is 6000 degrees, which is very, very high. And the mantle, which is close to it, has almost this temperature. The central core, or the inner core, is made of 85% iron and 15% nickel. Recently, two geologists said that they have found by their research, they know that the inner core of the earth has a small amount of gold and platinum also. The crust is not just one piece. It has been made of several pieces that they call them plates. There are 7 large plates and 8 small plates. Example of the large plates Atlantic Ocean is one piece, one large plate. Also, Africa, continent of Africa is one large plate. Pacific Ocean, which is the largest ocean on the earth, is just one piece, one plate, large plate. Asia, with some parts of Pacific of the oceans around it is also one large plate. Examples of the small plate are Iran, Arabic Peninsula, India, and Australia. As I said, the mantle comes from the inner part close to the central core, comes up, and then when it reaches the crust, it goes horizontally underneath of it, and then it goes down. So this way the mantle is circulating. It is like throwing some pieces, some boards in a pool. These wooden plates will be on top of the pool. But if water comes up from the bottom of the pool, reaches these plates, and then goes underneath of them horizontally and then goes down, this will cause these plates to tilt around. And the plates making the earth are very big, even the small ones. Iran is one of the small ones, or India is one of the small plates. Even in these areas, if they tilt to the side, they go tens of meters down in the mantle on one side and then on the other, at the other side. Or for a big plate like Pacific Ocean or Asia, they can go hundreds, they can go several or even 100 miles down in the mantle and then from the other side. But this does not happen because at the areas that the plates that make the surface of the earth, make the crust, at the areas that these plates reach each other, one of them goes under the other one. And there are two situations here. One situation is when two continental crusts reach each other. Here, one of them goes under the other one. For example, Iran has reached, the plate of Iran has reached the plate of Asia and has gone underneath of it. As a result, in these areas, we have the highest mountain ranges. And in Iran, here, we have Alborz mountain ranges, and the highest mount in Iran, which is Mount Damavand, its height is 5,610 meters, equal to 18,405.5 feet. India also is going under, the northern part of that is going under Asia. Iran is going just 1 millimeter a year under Asia and has made these mountain ranges. And of course, at the area that these high mountains are, underneath of that are high mountains going down inside the mantle. India, that is going 3 millimeters each year under the plate of Asia, has the highest mountain ranges in the earth. which are Himalaya mountain ranges. And the highest mount there is Mount Everest. Mount Everest is the highest mount on Earth. Its height is 8,848 meters, equal to 29,029 feet. And in Himalaya mountain ranges, there are over 50 other mountains that their height is more than 7,200 meters. Iran, Arabic Peninsula, and India before, in about 400 million years ago, they were in the Indian Ocean This is the continent of Africa. There is Indian Ocean at the east side here and at the south side of it. At the west side there is Atlantic Ocean, and on the north is Mediterranean Sea, which is the largest sea on the earth. 400 million years ago, Iran, Arabic Peninsula, India, and Australia were stick to each other, and they were in this area. If I can show it. It were close to the east side of South Africa in this area, and were stick to it, in fact. Because of the plate tectonic activities, they moved from there. Australia went toward the east, and it is at the area that now Australia is located. Iran, Arabic Peninsula, and India went north, and they went to the present location. In some areas of the earth, mantle comes out from the bottom of the ocean or on the continental area, land. Example of the continental land is this. At this time, this is Africa. There is a band coming from north to the south. It has not reached on either side to the sea around it yet. And it is made of always what comes out, mantle which comes out through the continental or ocean crust, always it makes oceanic crust. So here in India, we have this, in Africa, we have this band coming from north to south, and it is made of oceanic crust. If it continues coming out, in 150 million years or 200 million years, it will separate Africa to two parts, the continent of Africa, which is one plate, it becomes two pieces, and there would be an ocean between them. Also in Atlantic Ocean, at the west side of India, I say India, at the west side of Africa, there is Atlantic Ocean. Atlantic Ocean on one side is next to Africa. On the other side, at the west side, it reaches the continent of America. And in fact, there are signs that show that before Atlantic Ocean was not existent at all. And Africa and continent of America were one piece. Then this ocean came between them because mantle came out and separated them from each other, and now there is Atlantic Ocean in that area. Also at the center of Atlantic Ocean right now, there is a band coming out again from north to south in that. And if it continues coming out, it will expand Atlantic Ocean. It will become Atlantic Ocean will become much bigger. The second situation, the first situation I said is when two continental crusts reach each other. I'm sorry that I talked about other things in between, but there are two situations when two plates reach each other. One is is that both of them are continental crusts, and in this situation I said that the highest mountain ranges appear, and underneath of them also there are mountain ranges going down in the mantle. The second situation is when continental crust and oceanic crust reach each other. In that case, always the oceanic crust bends and goes under the continental crust. In fact, it bends 45 degrees and goes under the continental crust. And when it continues, it gradually goes more and more deep in the mantle and becomes part of the mantle. It melts down and becomes part of the mantle, because mantle is made of stone also. This way there is a circulation that mantle comes out on some areas and goes down into goes back down into the mantle. At the beginning of my talk, I said that the geologists say that Mars is a dead planet. Mars is a planet which is smaller than the Earth and is next to us. From the sun, from the distance from the sun, we are the third planet, the Earth, and the fourth planet is Mars. Mars, the crust of the Mars is just one piece, like eggshell, that covers the egg completely. So there is not any plate tectonics activity in Mars, and this is why the geologists say that Mars is a dead planet. I will stop here, and in the next session I talked about the part that says, I will read the verse again. It had three parts, the verse. One says, we give to the earth. The second one was that we reduce it from the sides. And the third part was, shall they, it means non-believers, shall they overcome? I talked about the first part, which is we give to the earth. The second part, which is we reduce it from its sides, and also the third part, which says, shall they then overcome us? That one, God willing, I will talk about it in the next session. Thank you, and God bless you.